I wish I knew better.
My husband told me I was boring in bed on a Tuesday afternoon, not during a fight, not in the heat of an argument, just casual, like he was commenting on the weather. We were standing in our kitchen, the one I'd spent 3 months picking out marble countertops for, and he said the words that would change everything. I want an open marriage. I stood there holding a dish towel, 50 years old, and watched my 28-year marriage crack right down the middle. But here's the thing nobody tells you about being underestimated. It gives you room to move. And trust me, I moved. What happened next? Let me just say my husband got exactly what he asked for, and it destroyed him in ways he never saw coming. Let me tell you how. Hey, before I get into this, if you're enjoying this story, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment letting me know you're here. This is going to be a journey, and I want you with me for all of it. My name is Diane, Diane Mitchell, 50 years old, mother of 2 grown children, wife to Gerald Mitchell for 28 years. Or at least, I was all those things when this story started. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand something important. I wasn't some young woman figuring out who she was. I knew exactly who I was. I'd raised 2 kids, buried both my parents, survived breast cancer at 43, and built a career as a school counselor that actually meant something. I'd lived a whole life, and Gerald looked at me like I was nothing. That's where this starts, with me being nothing in my own house. Let me take you back. From the outside, we had it all. Gerald and I lived in a beautiful 4-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood in Atlanta. You know the type? Tree-lined streets, block parties in the summer, homeowners association that sent you letters if your grass got too high. Black excellence on display. Gerald was a senior partner at a consulting firm. Made good money. Real good money. Drove a Mercedes, wore custom suits, played golf every Sunday morning with other successful Black men who talked about portfolios and investment properties. I worked at the local high school, helping kids navigate college applications and life problems. It wasn't flashy, but it mattered. Those kids needed someone who looked like them to tell them they could make it. Our son Troy was 30, working as an engineer in California. Our daughter Simone was 26, teaching in D.C., both doing well, both making us proud. We looked perfect in church every Sunday, perfect at the Johnsons' anniversary party, perfect at the community fundraiser, perfect. But let me tell you something about perfect. It's exhausting. Behind our closed door, Gerald and I barely spoke. We moved around each other like roommates. Polite, distant. He'd come home late most nights, eat whatever I'd made for dinner in front of the TV, then disappear into his home office. On weekends, he golfed or went to networking events that I stopped being invited to somewhere around year 20. And me, I read books. I gardened. I called my sister Paulette and pretended everything was fine. I told myself this was just what marriage looked like at our age. The passion fades. The friendship remains. That's what everyone said, right? That's what I told myself. Until that Tuesday, it was around 3 in the afternoon. I'd taken a half day because one of my students had a crisis that morning, pregnant, scared, didn't know what to do, and I'd stayed with her through the panic attack and the phone call to her mama and the tears. I came home tired, emotionally wrung out. Gerald's car was in the driveway, which was unusual. He rarely came home before 6. I found him in the kitchen, looking at his phone. He glanced up when I walked in. Hey, he said. Hey, you're home early. Took the afternoon off. He set his phone down. We need to talk. Those 4 words. They never mean anything good, do they? I set my purse on the counter. About what? He took a breath. And this is what I remember most. He looked relieved. like he'd been waiting to say this for a long time and was glad to finally get it out. I'm not happy, Diane. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Okay, I haven't been happy for a while. I waited. I think we need to make some changes. Try something different. Different how? He looked right at me. I want us to have an open marriage. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my brain couldn't process what he was saying. What? An open marriage. We stay together, keep the house, the family structure, but we're free to see other people. I gripped the edge of the counter. You're serious? I've been thinking about this for months, Diane. We barely connect anymore. The spark is gone. He paused. You're boring. In bed. In general. I need more. Boring. He called me boring. So your solution is to sleep with other women? Not just me. You too. You can see other men if you want. If I want. Like he was doing me a favor. Gerald, we've been married 28 years. Exactly. That's a long time to be with one person. People change. Needs change. This way we can stay married, keep the benefits of our partnership, but also have fulfillment. Partnership. He called our marriage a partnership, like it was a business arrangement. I stared at him. This man I'd slept next to for nearly 3 decades. This man whose children I'd carried, whose mother I'd taken care of when she got sick, whose dinner I'd cooked thousands of times. And if I say no, he shrugged. Then I'll file for divorce. There it was. The real ultimatum. I see, I said quietly. Think about it, he said, picking up his phone again like we'd just discussed weekend plans. Really think about it. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to be honest. He walked out of the kitchen. I stood there holding that dish towel, and I thought about a lot of things. I thought about my vows, about my children, about what my mother would say, about what the church ladies would whisper. I thought about starting over at 50, dating, being alone, splitting assets. And I thought about something else too. I thought about Gerald assuming I couldn't do better, that I wouldn't want to, that I'd just accept this because I had no other choice, that I was boring. I made my decision right there in that kitchen. If Gerald wanted an open marriage, he'd get one, but not the way he expected. I didn't answer him that night. Or the next day. I let him sweat a little, watched him get nervous, checking his phone, asking me if I'd thought about what he said. On Friday, I told him yes. Yes. He looked surprised. Yes, we can have an open marriage. I watched relief flood his face. He actually smiled. Really? On one condition. We're honest with each other. No sneaking around. If you're seeing someone, you tell me. If I'm seeing someone, I tell you. Of course. Absolutely. That's the whole point. Honesty. Honesty. From the man who'd probably been cheating on me for months already. But I smiled. Okay then. He hugged me. Actually hugged me like I'd given him a gift. This is going to be good for us, Dee. You'll see. We can rediscover ourselves. Rediscover ourselves. I nodded against his shoulder and thought, baby, you have no idea what I'm about to discover. That weekend, Gerald went out, told me he was meeting some friends. Came back at 2 in the morning, smelling like perfume and gin. I was in bed, reading when he stumbled in. Good night. I asked. He grinned. Yeah, really good. I'm glad. He kissed my forehead like I was a child. You should try it. Go out. Have some fun. Maybe I will. He fell asleep within minutes. I lay there in the dark, listening to him snore, and made a plan. First thing Monday morning, I called my sister. Paulette lived in D.C., worked as a lawyer for a nonprofit, and had been telling me for years that Gerald was trash. I defended him every time. Not anymore. He said what? Paulette's voice went up 3 octaves. He wants an open marriage. Said I'm boring. Diane, tell me you told him to go straight to hell. I told him yes. Silence. Paulette. I'm sorry. I think I just had a stroke. You said yes. I did. Why would you? Because I have a plan. I told her everything. Gerald's ultimatum. The real choice he'd given me, and what I intended to do about it. When I finished, Paulette was quiet for a long moment. Then she laughed. Oh, this is about to be good. What do you need from me? A makeover. A complete one. Say less. I'm flying down this weekend. True to her word, Paulette showed up that Saturday with 2 suitcases and a mission. Okay, she said, walking through my closet. When's the last time you bought something for you? Not for a school function or church. For you. I thought about it. I don't know. A while. That changes today. We spent the entire weekend shopping. And I mean really shopping. Not the quick trips to Macy's sale rack I usually did. We went to boutiques. We tried on everything. Paulette made me buy clothes I'd never have picked for myself. Fitted dresses. Nice jeans. Tops that actually showed I had a figure. You're 50, not dead, she kept saying. Your body is still good. Show it. We got my hair done. A new style, shorter, layered, with honey-colored highlights that made my skin glow. We got my nails done. A facial. New makeup. When I looked in the mirror Sunday night, I barely recognized myself. I looked alive. There she is, Paulette said, standing behind me. There's my sister. I started crying. Hey. She hugged me. What's wrong? I forgot what I looked like. I forgot I was a person outside of being Gerald's wife. Well, remember now, because you're about to remind him too. Okay, hold on. If you're still with me, drop a comment and let me know what you think so far. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button. Trust me, you want to see what happens next. Paulette also made me join a gym. You need to get out of that house, she said. Go somewhere. Meet people. Get your confidence back. So I joined one of those nice gyms in Buckhead, the kind with a juice bar and clean towels and classes with names like Power Flow and Core Fusion. I started going every morning before work. At first, I felt ridiculous. 50 years old in workout clothes, huffing through a yoga class with women half my age. But slowly, something changed. I got stronger, not just physically, though that happened too. I got mentally stronger. Taking that hour every morning for myself felt revolutionary. I started talking to people, the other regulars. We'd chat after class, grab smoothies, exchange numbers. One of them was a woman named Janine. Late 40s, divorced, worked in real estate. She took one look at me and said, "You're either newly single or about to be." I laughed. That obvious? Honey, I know the look. That's the I'm remembering who I am glow. We became friends. Real friends. She introduced me to her circle, other women who'd rebuilt themselves after divorce or death, or just deciding they deserved better. They invited me out. Girls' nights. Wine tastings. A weekend trip to Charleston. I said yes to everything. Gerald noticed. "You're out a lot," he said one evening. I was getting ready to meet Janine and some others for dinner. "You said I should have fun." I reminded him, applying lipstick. "Yeah, but what?" He frowned. "Nothing. Have a good time." I could see it in his face. The slightest flicker of doubt. Good. I met Nathaniel at a fundraiser, one of those fancy charity events for an arts organization. I normally wouldn't have gone, but Janine was on the board and needed people to fill tables. "Come on," she'd said. "Open bar, good food, and you never know who you'll meet." I wore one of my new dresses, navy blue, fitted, with a neckline that was elegant but showed just enough. My hair was done. Makeup perfect. Gerald was at another networking event. We'd stopped asking where the other was going. The fundraiser was at a gorgeous venue downtown, all high ceilings and chandeliers, and waiters carrying champagne on silver trays. I felt out of place at first. Everyone seemed to know everyone. They were talking about art installations and foundation grants, and other things I knew nothing about. But Janine kept me close, introduced me around. That's when I saw him. Nathaniel Brooks. He was standing near the bar, talking to a couple in their 60s. Tall, maybe 6'2", well built, like he actually worked out instead of just talking about it. Clean shaven, beautiful dark skin, gray at his temples that somehow made him look more distinguished instead of older. He was wearing a suit that fit him perfectly, and when he laughed at something the older man said, it was genuine, full, the kind of laugh that made you want to know what was funny. Who is that? I asked Janine. She followed my gaze and grinned. That's Nathaniel Brooks. Owns a couple of restaurants in the city. Does a lot of charity work. Widower. His wife passed away about 3 years ago. Cancer. He's been single since. Something about the way she said it made me ask, why are you smiling like that? Because he's perfect for you. Janine, come on. She grabbed my hand. Wait, I can't just... But she was already pulling me across the room. Nathaniel turned as we approached. Up close, he was even more striking. Warm brown eyes that crinkled at the corners when he smiled. Nathaniel, Janine said, I want you to meet my friend Diane. Diane, this is Nathaniel Brooks. He extended his hand. Pleasure to meet you. Diane. His handshake was firm. Confident. You too. I managed. Diane works as a counselor at one of the high schools. Janine said, she's been doing amazing work with the kids there. That's wonderful, Nathaniel said, and he sounded like he meant it. Which school? We started talking, and I mean really talking, not the small talk you do at these things. He asked questions and listened to the answers, told me about his restaurants, how he'd started in the industry washing dishes at 16. My mama said if I wanted spending money, I needed to work for it, he said, smiling at the memory. Best lesson she ever taught me. Smart woman. The smartest. His expression softened. I lost her 2 years ago. I'm sorry. Thank you. You lose your parents yet? Most people danced around that question. He asked it straight. Both of them. 5 years ago for my dad. 3 for my mom. He nodded. Then you know. That feeling like you're an orphan even at our age. Yes, I said quietly. Exactly that. We stood there for a moment, and something passed between us. Understanding. Recognition. Someone called his name from across the room. He glanced over, then back at me. He gestured vaguely. But can I get your number? I'd like to continue this conversation. My heart jumped. Then I remembered. Open marriage. I could say yes. Sure, I said. I gave him my number. He put it in his phone right there, then called it so I'd have his. I'll text you, he said. Okay. He smiled, God, that smile, and walked away. Janine appeared at my elbow. Girl, don't. He likes you. You don't know that. Diane, that man gave you his full attention for 20 minutes at a networking event. He likes you. I felt something flutter in my chest, something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Nathaniel texted me the next day. Not a hey or what's up. An actual message. Hi, Diane. This is Nathaniel from last night. I really enjoyed talking with you. Would you like to have dinner with me this week? I stared at my phone. Gerald was in the shower. I could hear the water running. I typed back. I'd like that. Great. Are you free Friday? Friday. Date night. When couples went out. Yes. Perfect. I'll pick you up at 7. if you're comfortable sharing your address. I was about to type my address when I stopped. Gerald and I hadn't discussed the logistics of this. How it would actually work. Did I bring dates home? Did he? I texted back. Would it be okay if I met you there instead? Of course. How about my restaurant? Savoy on Peachtree. I knew Savoy. It was one of the nicest places in Atlanta. The kind of place Gerald took clients, not me. Sounds wonderful. See you Friday at 7. I put my phone down just as Gerald came out of the bathroom. Who are you texting? He asked, casual. Here was the test. The honesty he'd insisted on. A man I met at a fundraiser. We're having dinner Friday. Gerald stopped midway through putting on his watch. Oh, that's okay, right? That was the agreement. Yeah, of course. He finished with his watch. Good for you. But I saw his jaw tighten. I smiled. Thanks, honey. Friday took forever to arrive. I changed outfits 3 times. Called Paulette in a panic. I haven't been on a first date in 30 years. I told her. Then it's time. Wear the black dress. The one with the wrap detail. What if I don't know what to say? Diane, you talk to teenagers all day. You can handle one grown man. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. When was the last time I'd been myself? I wore the black dress, did my makeup carefully, put on the perfume I'd bought at Paulette's insistence, something floral and expensive. Gerald was on the couch when I came downstairs. He looked up, really looked at me. You look nice, he said. Thank you. Where'd you say you're going? Savoy. That's expensive. He owns it. Gerald's expression shifted. He owns Savoy. And 2 other restaurants. I grabbed my purse. What time will you be back? Gerald asked. I paused at the door. I don't know. Don't wait up. I left him sitting there. Nathaniel was already at the restaurant when I arrived. He stood when he saw me, and that smile, that same warm smile from the fundraiser, spread across his face. Diane, you look beautiful. Thank you. So, do you? I blushed. I mean, you look handsome. Nice. You look nice. He laughed. I'll take it. Come on. He led me to a private table near the window. The view overlooked the city lights. Candles flickered on the table. A waiter appeared immediately. Mr. Brooks. Hey, James. This is Ms. Diane. Whatever she wants tonight, make sure she gets it. Of course, sir. Nathaniel ordered a bottle of wine, something I'd never heard of but tasted like heaven. We talked and talked and talked about everything, his restaurants, and how he'd built them from nothing, my work with the kids, and the ones who broke my heart, his late wife Patricia, and how much he still missed her, my children, and how proud I was of them. You're still married, he said at one point. Not a question. Yes, I said. It's complicated. I'm listening. So I told him. Not everything, but enough. The open marriage. Gerald's ultimatum. How I felt like I'd disappeared somewhere along the way. Nathaniel listened without interrupting. When I finished, he sat back. Can I be honest with you? Please. Your husband's a fool. I laughed, startled. What? I'm serious. A man who looks at you, smart, beautiful, caring, and says you're boring? That man's lost his mind. I felt tears prick my eyes. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you light up when you talk about your students. I know you're carrying grief about your parents, but doing it with grace. I know you're trying to figure out who you are outside of being someone's wife. He leaned forward. That's not boring, Diane. That's brave. Nobody had called me brave in a long time. We stayed until the restaurant closed. For hours of talking. When he walked me to my car, he took my hand. Can I see you again? Yes, I said without hesitation. Good. He squeezed my hand gently. Drive safe. I drove home on a cloud. Gerald was still up, pretending to watch TV. How was it? He asked when I walked in. I smiled. Really good. I went upstairs before he could ask anything else. Nathaniel and I started seeing each other regularly, twice a week at first, then 3 times, then almost every day. We'd meet for coffee before work, lunch when I could get away, dinner when Gerald was doing whatever Gerald was doing. Nathaniel never pushed, never asked for more than I was ready to give. We took it slow. Walks in the park, movies, jazz clubs. He took me to the farmer's market on Saturdays, and we'd cook together at his place, a beautiful condo in Midtown with floor-to-ceiling windows. He was different from Gerald in every way. Attentive, present. He asked me questions and remembered my answers. When I mentioned loving sunflowers once, he showed up with a bouquet the next week. When I told him about a difficult situation with a student, he listened and asked follow-up questions the next time we talked. I wore the black dress, did my makeup carefully, put on the perfume I bought at Paulette's insistence, something floral and expensive. Gerald was on the couch when I came downstairs. He looked up, really looked at me. You look nice, he said. Thank you. Where'd you say you're going? Savoy. That's expensive. He owns it. Gerald's expression shifted. He owns Savoy and 2 other restaurants. I grabbed my purse. What time will you be back? Gerald asked. I paused at the door. I don't know. Don't wait up. I left him sitting there. Nathaniel was already at the restaurant when I arrived. He stood when he saw me, and that smile, that same warm smile from the fundraiser, spread across his face. Diane, you look beautiful. Thank you. So, do you... I blushed. I mean, you look handsome. Nice. You look nice. He laughed. I'll take it. Come on. He led me to a private table near the window. The view overlooked the city lights. Candles flickered on the table. A waiter appeared immediately. Mr. Brooks. Hey, James. This is Ms. Diane. Whatever she wants tonight, make sure she gets it. Of course, sir. Nathaniel ordered a bottle of wine, something I'd never heard of but tasted like heaven. We talked and talked and talked about everything. His restaurants and how he'd built them from nothing. My work with the kids and the ones who broke my heart. His late wife, Patricia, and how much he still missed her. My children and how proud I was of them. You're still married, he said at one point. Not a question. Yes, I said. It's complicated. I'm listening. So I told him. Not everything, but enough. The open marriage. Gerald's ultimatum. How I felt like I'd disappeared somewhere along the way. Nathaniel listened without interrupting. When I finished, he sat back. Can I be honest with you? Please. Your husband's a fool. I laughed, startled. What? I'm serious. A man who looks at you, smart, beautiful, caring, and says you're boring? That man's lost his mind. I felt tears prick my eyes. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you light up when you talk about your students. I know you're carrying grief about your parents, but doing it with grace. I know you're trying to figure out who you are outside of being someone's wife. He leaned forward. That's not boring, Diane. That's brave. Nobody had called me brave in a long time. We stayed until the restaurant closed. 4 hours of talking. When he walked me to my car, he took my hand. Can I see you again? Yes, I said without hesitation. Good. He squeezed my hand gently. Drive safe. I drove home on a cloud. Gerald was still up, pretending to watch TV. How was it? He asked when I walked in. I smiled. Really good. I went upstairs before he could ask anything else. Nathaniel and I started seeing each other regularly, twice a week at first, then 3 times. Then almost every day. We'd meet for coffee before work, lunch when I could get away, dinner when Gerald was doing whatever Gerald was doing. Nathaniel never pushed, never asked for more than I was ready to give. We took it slow. Walks in the park, movies, jazz clubs. He took me to the farmer's market on Saturdays, and we'd cook together at his place, a beautiful condo in Midtown with floor-to-ceiling windows. He was different from Gerald in every way. Attentive, present. He asked me questions and remembered my answers. When I mentioned loving sunflowers once, he showed up with a bouquet the next week. When I told him about a difficult situation with a student, he listened and asked follow-up questions the next time we talked. Troy had flown in from California unexpectedly. "Hey, baby," I said, hugging him. "What are you doing here?" "Dad called, said we needed to talk." I looked at Gerald. Did he? Troy looked between us. "What's going on?" "Dad said something about you guys having problems." "We're not having problems," I said calmly. "We have an open marriage. Your father's idea." Troy's eyes went wide. "What?" "Gerald thought we should see other people. So we are. Mom, I'm seeing someone, a wonderful man named Nathaniel. Your father is seeing—" I looked at Gerald. "What was her name again? The one I smell on your clothes." Gerald's face went red. Troy stood up. "Okay, I don't need to be in the middle of this." "There's nothing to be in the middle of," I said. "We're both adults making adult choices. Right, Gerald?" Gerald said nothing. Troy looked at his father with something close to disgust. "This was your idea?" "Troy, you don't understand. I understand you told Mom she could see other people. And now you're mad she found someone better." He'd always been sharp, my boy. "I'm going back to my hotel." Troy said, "I'll call you tomorrow, Mom." He left. Gerald and I stood in the living room. "You happy now?" Gerald asked. "Actually, yes, I am." And I meant it. 3 months into seeing Nathaniel, he asked me to meet his daughter. Her name was Kendra, 28, worked as a lawyer in Atlanta. "She's protective of me," Nathaniel warned, "especially after her mom died. But I think she'll love you. And if she doesn't, then I'll work on her. But Diane, you're important to me. I want the people I love to know each other." The people I love. We were sitting in his living room when he said it, evening light coming through the windows. "You love me?" I asked quietly. He turned to face me fully. "Yes, I'm in love with you. Have been for a while now." Tears filled my eyes. "Hey." He wiped one away with his thumb. "Why are you crying?" "Because I love you too, and I didn't think I'd ever feel this way again." He kissed me, deep and sure. "You deserve to feel this way," he said, "every day." I met Kendra the following week. She was beautiful, tall like her father, with her mother's eyes according to Nathaniel. She'd agreed to have lunch with us at a cafe near her office. I was nervous, more nervous than I'd been in years. What if she hates me? I asked Nathaniel in the car. She won't. But what if? Diane. He took my hand. Breathe. You're amazing. She's going to see that. Kendra was already at a table when we arrived. She stood when she saw us, and I watched her eyes go from Nathaniel to me, assessing. "Kendra, this is Diane. Diane, my daughter Kendra." "It's nice to meet you," I said, extending my hand. She shook it. "Firm grip. You too." We sat down. The first few minutes were awkward. Polite small talk. Questions about work and the weather. Then Kendra said, "So, my dad tells me you're married." Nathaniel tensed. "Kendra." "It's okay," I said. I looked at her directly. "I am. Technically. My husband and I have an open marriage. It was his idea, and I went along with it because the alternative was divorce. And now I'm in love with your father, and I'm planning to file for divorce soon. Soon. Yes. I wanted to make sure about some things first. About what I want, who I want to be. Kendra studied me. And what did you decide? That I want to be with someone who sees me, who values me, who treats me like I matter. I paused. Your father does all of that. Something in Kendra's expression softened. He talks about you constantly. Like constantly. It's actually annoying. Nathaniel laughed. I do not. Dad, you brought her up 3 times in one phone call last week. I smiled. Kendra looked at me again, and this time I saw something different in her eyes. Acceptance, maybe. My mom was the love of his life, she said quietly. Losing her broke something in him. I thought he'd be alone forever. Kendra, Nathaniel started, but then he met you, and I've seen him smile more in the last 3 months than I have in 3 years. She reached across and squeezed my hand. So thank you for making him happy. I squeezed back, tears in my eyes. He makes me happy too. The rest of lunch was easy, natural. Kendra told stories about Nathaniel when she was growing up, how he'd practiced her times tables with her, showed up to every school event, cried at her law school graduation. I told her about Troy and Simone, about being a mom, who worried even when your kids were grown. By the time we left, Kendra hugged me. Take care of him, she whispered. I will, I promised. In the car, Nathaniel was quiet. You okay? I asked. Better than okay. He smiled. My daughter likes you. I like her too. He pulled into a parking lot, turned to me. Diane, I know you're still married. I know this is complicated, but I need you to know something. What? I want a future with you. Real one. I want you to move in with me. Meet all my family. Wake up next to me every morning. He took my hand. I want to marry you if you'll have me. I couldn't breathe. You don't have to answer now, he said quickly. I know you need to handle things with Gerald first. I just needed you to know. This isn't casual for me. You're it. I kissed him, poured everything I felt into it. When we pulled apart, I said, I want that too. All of it. Yeah. He smiled, so wide it made my heart hurt in the best way. That night, I went home and told Gerald I wanted a divorce. Gerald took it worse than I expected. You're serious, he said. We were in the kitchen. Always the kitchen with us. Yes. Because of him. Nathaniel. Because of me, I corrected. Because I deserve better than what we have. What we've had for years. Diane, we can fix this. Go to counseling. Work on things. You told me I was boring. You said I was terrible in bed. You demanded an open marriage, or you'd divorce me. I kept my voice level. You don't get to panic now because I took you up on it. I didn't think you'd actually... He stopped. Didn't think I'd actually what? Find someone? Fall in love. Be happy. He looked away. You thought I'd just sit here and accept whatever scraps of attention you threw my way. That I'd be grateful you stayed. That's not. That's exactly what you thought. You underestimated me, Gerald, and that's on you. He was quiet for a long time. Then, I made a mistake. Yes, you did. I'm sorry. I believe you, but sorry doesn't fix 28 years of being invisible. Sorry doesn't give me back the time I spent trying to be perfect for you while you criticized everything about me. So that's it. We're done. We've been done for a long time. We just made it official when you asked for the open marriage. I left him in the kitchen and went upstairs to start packing. The divorce took 6 months. Gerald fought it at first, tried to negotiate, then tried to be difficult about assets. But I had a good lawyer, one of Paulette's colleagues, and we'd been married long enough that Georgia law was on my side. We sold the house, split everything 50-50. The money, the retirement accounts, all of it. Troy and Simone were supportive. They'd both met Nathaniel by then, seen how he treated me. Even Troy, who'd been angry at first, came around. "I just want you happy, Mom," he said on one of our phone calls. "I am, baby. I really am." Simone was more direct. "Dad's an idiot. Nathaniel's great. When's the wedding?" I laughed. "We're not engaged yet. He looks at you like you hung the moon, Mom. That man's going to propose." She was right. Word got around our community, of course. The whispers started before the divorce was even final. I heard it through friends, through church, through the grapevine that exists in every Black community where everybody knows everybody. "Did you hear about Diane and Gerald? She's with some restaurant owner now. Left her husband after all these years. And he's loaded. She upgraded." Some people were supportive. My real friends, the ones who knew what my marriage had actually been like. Others were judgmental. The church ladies who thought divorce was a sin no matter the circumstances. The ones who'd seen us on Sundays looking perfect and couldn't believe I'd throw away 28 years. I ran into one of them, Sister Patricia from the usher board, at the grocery store. "Diane," she said, her voice dripping with false concern. "I heard about you and Gerald. Such a shame." "Is it?" I kept loading my cart. 28 years. And you just walked away. I turned to face her. "Sister Patricia, with respect, you don't know what happened in my marriage. You only know what you saw on Sundays. But divorce was better than staying in a marriage where I wasn't valued, where I was called boring and terrible and made to feel like I was the problem." Her eyes widened. "So no, it's not a shame. It's freedom. And I'm grateful for it every day." I walked away before she could respond. But that interaction taught me something. I didn't owe anyone an explanation. Not the church ladies, not the neighbors, not anyone who wanted to judge without knowing. My life was mine, and I was going to live it. I found out about Gerald's situation through Troy. He called me about 8 months after our divorce was final. "Mom, I need to tell you something about Dad. I was at Nathaniel's making dinner. What's wrong?" "He lost his job." I stopped stirring the sauce. "What?" "Got fired last week. Something about inappropriate conduct with a junior colleague. The woman he was seeing, apparently, she worked at his firm." "Oh, Mom, you there?" "I'm here. Is he okay?" "I guess. He's scrambling, trying to find another position, but word got out. Nobody wants to hire him." I felt a complicated mix of emotions. Not satisfaction, exactly. More like acknowledgement. Actions have consequences. "He's asking if he can borrow money," Troy continued. "From me and Simone. Says he's having trouble making rent on his new place. Gerald had moved into a condo after we sold the house. Something modern and expensive that he could barely afford even with his salary. What did you tell him?" "That I'd think about it. Mom, I know he hurt you. I'm not asking you to feel bad for him. I just thought you should know. Thank you for telling me, baby." After we hung up, I sat with it for a while. Gerald had lost everything he thought made him valuable. The job, the status, the money, the perfect image. And me. Nathaniel came into the kitchen, saw my face. "Everything okay?" I told him about Gerald. He listened, then said, "How do you feel about it?" Honestly, sad. Not for him specifically, but for the waste of it all. We could have been happy. We could have worked on our marriage, gone to counseling, really tried. Instead, he threw it away for an affair with someone at his job. And now he's lost everything. "Do you regret leaving?" "Not for a second." I stood and wrapped my arms around him. Best decision I ever made. He kissed the top of my head. Mine too. Nathaniel proposed on a Sunday morning. We were at his place. My place too by then. I'd moved in 3 months earlier. I was making coffee in one of his old t-shirts, hair in a bonnet, no makeup. Real life, not performance. He came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my waist. "Morning," I said, leaning back into him. "Morning, beautiful." I laughed. "I look a mess." "You look perfect." I turned in his arms. He was smiling that smile I loved. "What?" I asked. "Marry me." I blinked. "What?" "Marry me, Diane. I know we said we'd wait. I know you just got divorced and probably need time. But I wake up every morning grateful you're here. I go to sleep every night thanking God you chose me. I don't want to wait anymore." My eyes filled with tears. "Nathaniel, I don't have a ring yet. I wanted to pick it out with you. But I have this." He pulled something from his pocket. A key. "It's to the house I'm buying. Big house. Roswell. 5 bedrooms. Because I want your kids to have space when they visit. Big kitchen because I know you like to cook. A garden because you mentioned wanting one." I was crying now. "The house is yours whether you marry me or not," he continued, "because I want you to have a home. A real one, where you feel safe and valued and loved every single day. You bought me a house. I bought us a house. If you'll have it, if you'll have me." I kissed him, deep and sure and full of everything I felt. When I pulled back, I said, "Yes. Yes to the house," or "Yes to everything. Yes to marrying you. Yes to the house. Yes to our life together. All of it. Yes." He picked me up and spun me around, both of us laughing and crying at the same time. We picked out the ring the following week. Something simple and elegant, not flashy, just perfect for me. He put it on my finger in the jewelry store, and I looked at it, this symbol of being chosen, being valued, and felt like my life had finally started. Okay, I'm getting emotional over here. If you're feeling this, let me know in the comments. And seriously, if you haven't subscribed and hit that notification bell, do it now. You're going to want to see how this ends. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. In the garden of our new house. Paulette was my maid of honor. Kendra was one of my bridesmaids, along with Janine and a few other friends I'd made. Troy walked me down the aisle. Simone did a reading. Both of them had embraced Nathaniel completely, watched how he treated me, and decided he was worthy. "You look happy, Mama," Troy whispered as we walked. "I am, baby." "Good. You deserve it." Nathaniel cried when he saw me. Actually cried. Didn't even try to hide it. I cried too. Our vows were simple. We'd written them together, standing in the kitchen late one night. I promised to see him, to value him, to love him in all the ways that mattered. He promised the same. When the officiant said, "You may kiss your bride," Nathaniel cupped my face gently and kissed me like I was precious, like I was everything. The reception was in our backyard. Good food, good music, good people. I danced with Nathaniel, with my son, with my daughter, with Paulette, who whispered, "I told you it would work out." You did. You happy? More than I ever thought possible. She hugged me tight. That's all I ever wanted for you. Late that night, after everyone had left, and it was just us, Nathaniel and I sat on our back porch. The stars were out. Music still playing softly from the speakers we'd set up. "Good day," he asked, pulling me close. "Perfect day." "You tired?" "Exhausted. Happy exhausted." We sat in comfortable silence. "Can I tell you something?" I said after a while. "Always. 1.5 years ago, I thought my life was over. I thought 50 meant invisible, boring, done. And now Now, I know it was just beginning. Real life. The one I was supposed to have. He kissed my temple. Thank you. For what? For giving me a chance. For being brave enough to leave what wasn't working. For choosing me. Thank you for seeing me. For reminding me I was worth seeing. We sat there under the stars in our house, married and happy and free. Gerald sent a gift to the wedding. I didn't see it until the next day when we were opening presents. It was a card. Simple white envelope with my name on it in Gerald's handwriting. Nathaniel saw my face change. What's wrong? It's from Gerald. You don't have to open it. But I was curious. After everything, what could he possibly have to say? I opened it. Inside was a short note. Diane, I hope you have a beautiful wedding and a happy marriage. I mean, that sincerely. I was wrong. About everything. You weren't boring. You weren't the problem. I was. I took you for granted. I thought the grass would be greener. I was a fool. I see that now. Too late, but I see it. I'm glad you found someone who treats you the way you should have been treated all along. You deserve that. I'm sorry for all the years I made you feel like you didn't. Congratulations. Gerald. I read it twice. Nathaniel was watching me carefully. You okay? Yeah. I folded the note. He apologized. Said he was wrong. How do you feel about that? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Grateful. I said finally, not for him. For the journey. If he hadn't pushed me away, I never would have found you. I never would have found myself. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe, or maybe we just make meaning from what happens to us. I looked at him. Either way, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. He kissed me. Me too. I threw Gerald's card away, not out of bitterness or anger, just closure. That chapter was done. This one was beginning. For our first anniversary, Nathaniel surprised me. Close your eyes, he said as we pulled up somewhere. Where are we? You'll see. Keep them closed. He led me out of the car, his hand steady on my arm. Okay, he said. Open. We were standing in front of a restaurant, but not one of his existing ones. This was new. The sign above the door read, Diane's. I stared at it. What? It's yours, he said. Your restaurant. I know you said you wanted to do something different after retirement. I know you love cooking. So, he gestured. I bought the space, hired a staff. Everything's ready. You just need to decide what you want to do with it. I couldn't speak. If you don't like it, we can do something else, he said quickly. I just thought. I kissed him. Hard. I love it, I said when I pulled back. I love you. So you'll do it? Run the restaurant? Yes. God, yes. He grinned. Good, because I already told everyone you're the new chef owner, and they're all excited to meet you. I laughed, crying at the same time. You're ridiculous. I'm in love. There's a difference. I retired from counseling at 52 and opened Diane's. It became known for comfort food, the kind of cooking I grew up with, mac and cheese that melts in your mouth, fried chicken that's crispy on the outside, tender inside, collard greens cooked low and slow with smoked turkey, soul food, but elevated. We also did Sunday brunch, gospel music playing, families coming in after church. I made sure there was always a kids eat free policy and scholarship information available for local students. It was more than a restaurant. It was a community space. Kendra helped me with the business side. Troy helped me set up the website. Simone flew in for the opening and cried when she saw the place packed with people. Mama, this is amazing, she said. It is, isn't it? Nathaniel stood at the back, watching me work the room, talk to customers, laugh with the staff. Later, he told me, this is when I knew. Knew what? That you'd fully come alive. This version of you, happy, confident, thriving. This is who you were always meant to be. It took me 50 years to get here. Better late than never. He was right. I ran into Gerald at a grocery store about 2 years after the wedding. I was picking up ingredients for a new recipe I wanted to try at the restaurant. He was in the produce section looking at tomatoes. He'd aged, not dramatically, but noticeably. Gray hair, tired eyes. He was wearing jeans and a wrinkled polo. Gerald never wore wrinkled anything. He saw me at the same time I saw him. Diane. Gerald. Awkward pause. You look good, he said. Thank you. How are you? I'm managing. Got a new job. Lower level than before, but it's steady. That's good. I heard about your restaurant. Diane's. Heard it's doing really well. It is. I'm blessed. Another pause. I also heard you got married. To that restaurant owner. Nathaniel. Yes. You happy? The question wasn't bitter. It was genuine. He actually wanted to know. Very, I said. He nodded. Looked down at the tomatoes he was still holding. Good. That's good. You deserve that. I thought about all the things I could say, all the hurt I could dig up, all the anger I was entitled to. Instead, I said, I hope you find it too. Real happiness. He looked up, surprised. You mean that? I do. We all deserve to be happy, Gerald. We just have to figure out what that actually means. I think I'm starting to get it. Too late for us, but maybe not too late for me. It's never too late. He smiled. Small but real. Congratulations, Diane. On everything. The restaurant, the marriage, all of it. Thank you. Take care of yourself. You too. I walked away feeling lighter. Not because I'd forgiven him. I'm still working on that. But because I'd released him. He wasn't my story anymore. I was. 5 years after leaving Gerald, my life looked completely different. I was 55, co-owner of 2 successful restaurants with Nathaniel, stepmother to Kendra, grandmother to her baby girl Maya. Troy had gotten engaged. Simone had been promoted to principal. I had a garden I tended every morning, a house full of light and laughter, a husband who kissed me goodbye every time he left and hello every time he returned. I had friends who knew the real me, work that fulfilled me, family that loved me. I had myself. On Sunday mornings, I'd wake up early, make coffee, sit in my garden, and watch the sun rise. Nathaniel would join me eventually, bring me a fresh cup, kiss my shoulder. What are you thinking about? He'd ask, and I'd tell him about the kids coming for dinner that night, about a new dish I wanted to try at the restaurant, about nothing important and everything that mattered. Simple moments, regular life, but it was mine, really mine, not performance, not obligation, not pretending, just living. One Sunday, Paulette visited from D.C. We sat in my kitchen, my beautiful kitchen with the marble countertops I'd picked out myself this time, drinking wine and catching up. You know what I love, she said. What? Watching you be happy, like genuinely happy, not pretending, not making the best of things. Actually happy. I am. I know. I can see it in everything. The way you smile, the way you talk, the way you exist in your own life. She reached across and squeezed my hand. You did it, Dee. You saved yourself. With your help. Girl, I just gave you a push. You did the scary part. You walked away from everything you knew. You chose yourself. I squeezed back. Best decision I ever made. What would you tell someone in the same situation? Someone married to the wrong person, feeling invisible, thinking it's too late. I thought about it. I'd tell them it's not too late. Not at 50. Not at 60. Not ever. I paused. I'd tell them being alone is better than being invisible, that starting over is terrifying, but staying stuck is worse. And that sometimes the life you're supposed to have is waiting on the other side of the scariest decision you'll ever make. Paulette raised her glass. Amen to that. We clinked glasses. Last month, I spoke at a women's conference. They'd invited me to talk about starting over, building businesses, finding yourself after loss. I almost said no. Public speaking isn't my thing. But Nathaniel encouraged me. Your story matters. Someone needs to hear it. So I said yes. The room was packed. Hundreds of women, mostly over 40, looking for hope. I stood at that podium and told them everything about being called boring, about the open marriage, about thinking my life was over at 50, and about choosing myself, about meeting Nathaniel, about building a new life from scratch. I'm not going to lie to you. I said, it was hard, terrifying. There were nights I cried myself to sleep wondering if I'd made a mistake, if I should have just stayed, just accepted it. The room was silent, but then I'd wake up and remember something. I'd been accepting just okay my entire marriage. I'd been making myself smaller so someone else could feel bigger. And I was tired. Heads nodded. So I stopped. I stopped accepting. I stopped shrinking. I stopped pretending. And you know what happened? I didn't fall apart. I didn't lose everything. I didn't end up alone and miserable like I'd feared. I bloomed. At 50, at an age when women are told we're invisible, I became more visible than I'd ever been. Not because I was trying to prove something to someone else, but because I finally saw myself. More nods, some tears. Here's what I want you to hear. If you're in a marriage where you feel invisible, where you're criticized more than you're cherished, where you're told you're not enough, believe them. A few shocked faces. Not because you're not enough, but because you're not enough for them. And that's okay, because they're not enough for you either. You deserve more. More respect. More love. More joy. More life. And it's not too late. Whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, it's not too late to choose yourself, to walk away from what's killing you and toward what makes you feel alive. Standing ovation. Women crying, hugging each other, coming up to me afterward to share their stories. One woman, probably 60, grabbed my hands and said, I needed to hear this. I've been married 40 years to a man who treats me like furniture. I thought I had to stay. I thought it was too late. It's not, I told her. You're sure? I'm proof. She hugged me tight. Thank you. Thank you for being brave enough to tell the truth. Driving home that night, I thought about that woman, thought about all the women in that room, thought about who I was 5 years ago and who I am now. Gerald gave me an open marriage thinking he was teaching me a lesson, thinking he was showing me he could do better. Instead, he showed me I could do better. He opened a door he assumed I wouldn't walk through, but I did. And I found everything on the other side, not because I was looking for revenge or trying to hurt him, but because I finally decided I was worth loving, worth valuing, worth choosing. Today is Sunday. I wake up in my house, next to my husband, in my bed. The sun is coming through the windows Nathaniel insisted on, floor to ceiling, lots of light. He's still asleep, one arm thrown over me. I slip out carefully, put on a robe, go downstairs. The kitchen is my favorite room. Big island in the center. Windows overlooking the garden. Everything I picked out. I make coffee, take a cup outside. The garden is coming along. Flowers in full bloom. Vegetables growing in neat rows. I did this, built this, created this life. Not by accident, not by luck, by choice, by deciding I was worth more than I was getting, By walking through that scary door Gerald opened. By choosing myself. I hear the door open behind me. Nathaniel comes out in his pajama pants, coffee in hand. "Morning, beautiful," he says, kissing my cheek. "Morning." He sits next to me. We watch the birds in the garden. "What are you thinking about?" he asks. How different my life could have been if I'd stayed. Regrets? None. Just grateful I didn't. He squeezes my hand. We sit there in comfortable silence, drinking our coffee, planning our day. Troy and his fiancée are coming for dinner. Kendra's bringing Maya. Simone's calling later. Regular Sunday. Regular life. But it's beautiful. It's mine. It's real. And I earned every bit of it. Not by being perfect. Not by being the woman Gerald wanted. By being myself. Finally, fully, completely myself. And that's the ending I was always meant to have. Thank you for taking this journey with me. If this story resonated with you, if you saw yourself in any part of it, I want you to know something. It's not too late. Whatever age you are, whatever situation you're in, it's not too late to choose yourself. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be valued. You deserve to bloom. Go ahead and hit that like button if this story moved you. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment and let me know what you're taking away from Diane's story. And remember, the life you're supposed to have might be waiting on the other side of the scariest decision you'll ever make. Be brave enough to find out. Until next time.